This is green coffee. This is green coffee from Rwanda. And I wanted to talk briefly. I was just roasting samples and cupping these pretty amazing arrivals of Rwanda coffee. And I wanted to talk really quickly about green coffee from Rwanda, the specific problems they have, and the way you can sort Rwanda coffee to improve your chances of avoiding those problems. So, first of all, this is just an absolutely beautiful looking green sample. However, there are specific problems in Rwanda with physical damage that happens to coffee. A lot of times this is with the Antestia bug, which is a type of coffee berry boring insect that drills into the coffee bean. But it can also happen with a very slight physical defect to the coffee too, from pulping, or pulper nicking is one of them, or along the way. And let's look at a few that I pulled out here. And in other origins, these little defects that you see here would have little to no consequence in the cup. Perhaps this one here, perhaps this one here. This would, in a Guatemala coffee, this is a lot of times caused by some really superficial damage to the outside of the cherry by, or a kind of unsuccessful coffee berry borer, perhaps, but they usually come in right at the end of the bean. These things would really be of no consequence. However, in Rwanda, when you have physical damage to the coffee, there is a soil and airborne, I'm not sure, spore in the area that affects that and attacks that sort of damaged physical damage. When the coffee uses its resources to repel that, it creates this specific defect called potato defect. So, going into a really perfect looking sample and removing these little guys right here could help you avoid potato defect. Why would you want to do this? Well, because this coffee is literally, this lot I'm looking at right now, scoring about 92 points. And so it's worth it to try to improve that. And when you hit potato cup, that immediately can go down to 70 points, 75 points, because it has a very strong taste. It tastes either like hay when it's a sort of weak, a grassy, sort of dirty hay, or it can be full-blown, like the sort of sprouting potato, potatoes that sat in your drawer for a long time. You open the plastic bag and it's like, whoa. So, the second thing you could do, if you're like me and you just happen to keep ultraviolet light around, is you could look at under ultraviolet. What I'm looking for is very highly luminescent coffee. And there is one right there, and there's a little pulper nick on this little round one right there that we're seeing. Let me try that at a different angle. Yeah. So we have two luminescing coffee seeds there. And I will guarantee you, excuse me while I remove those, that if we take those over, we will see some very slight physical damage to that coffee too. The last thing you can do is that a lot of things, especially underripe, which is not exactly related to what we're talking about, show up in roasting. So here's my Probat, and here is some roasted samples. And for example, this may be a bean that, actually that's just a green bean that popped out of the roaster, probably at the end of the roast. This is a very slight semi-Quaker right here. I'm looking for other physical abnormalities that would contribute to Quaker taste. Potato taste. Quakers are just a general thing in the cup that can be noticeable. They're sort of, shouldn't be in washed coffees, but sometimes there's these very slight ones. Anyway, take this information here and apply it to another coffee, like a a washed Central, a natural Ethiopia, a washed Ethiopia, and you're going to get everything wrong. This is what I'm talking about. Is very specific. This level of scrutiny is very specific to Rwanda and perhaps Burundi washed coffees. There's some general things that apply, but if you take a UV light and start using it on everything, as I've been doing for about 3 years now, you can lead yourself astray. So I always back that up with cupping. It's sort of another clue, another tool to get more information about the coffee, but not absolute, and it's specific for every different origin. So if Mr. iPhone won't focus anymore. There we go. So this is what we've omitted, and there are really no full-on Antestia beans that are drilled out, which means they did a good job on the gravity table. But these are not really defects you can remove in the mill very easily. Perhaps a broken like this should come out in the screener, but color sorting won't get these normally. Gravity table won't get these. The benefit of home roasting is we're not roasting 60 kgs in a batch. So we can sit here and kind of look at our coffee. In doing it, you learn something. I don't want to make excuses for bad preparation and stuff, but this is really beyond the level that anyone can sort a coffee to. So these Rwandas are totally amazing coffees. You know, it's like having fresh Central Americas dropped on your doorstep in the middle of the off season for Central, and it just blisteringly good, if that doesn't sound a little disgusting. Okay, thanks.